Okay, the monster's back at 175, man. David Benevidez moving on up, forgetting Canelo. He's doing what I think is right for his career and for boxing. Because honestly, I don't know who else he's gonna fight at 168 that's gonna give him a tough fight, except for David Morrell. But David Morrell, he said he's moving up to 175. So I mean, this is interesting for 175 for a first time in a long time. We're gonna have a few names, because for the longest time it's just been Dimitri Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev. But now we got David Benavidez in the mix and David Morrell in the mix. As far as David Benavidez, obviously he's making his campaign on the Tank Davis versus Frank Martin fight. It should be a good fight, man. I really expect a lot from him. I expect him to come out and put on a great performance. I expect him to look better now that he doesn't have to train himself for the weight. I'm sure he didn't have to do a 5 month camp. So I think he's probably had time to work on a few things that he's been lacking in his boxing and that could show in this fight. But at the same time, I'm looking across the ring. He's never fought a guy the same height as him and the same like a natural 175 pounder who can rehydrate up to 200 pounds, just like David Benavidez. And that's the task that he's gonna have to go against this weekend as he fights against Orslander Vosdick, former champion, WBC champion. A lot of people know him as the guy who put Donna Stevenson out of boxing, man. And Donna Stevenson's obviously somebody who I love because I'm Canadian. He was exciting, and it hurt my heart to see that fight go down that way. But at the same time, Vosdick, he's just doing what he has to do in the sport, and now coming back from that loss to Better Beef, he's had a couple good wins on the PBC, and now he's right back in a big fight with David Benavidez. So I mean, I think the winner of this fight, they're saying is basically gonna get set up with the winner of Dimitri Bivol and Better Beef. So this is kind of like Benavidez saying, I can't wait on Canelo no more. I want to be an undisputed champion of any division. Let me move on up here where I can get a quicker shot because Canelo Alvarez doesn't know what he's gonna do, and that's frustrating, man. When you're waiting on somebody else to get your goals done. So I like this move from Team Benavidez moving on up, but I do think they got to fight David Morrell if they win this fight because David Morrell is actively hunting David Benavidez, and we cannot duck that as fans. No matter what we want to say about Morrell, he doesn't have a lot of fights. He wants to fight David Benavidez. Like that's very clear. And I don't think he's one of these opponents where he doesn't have the skills to beat Benavidez. So why not let him fight? Like he wants to fight, man. It's like, what are we doing here? We like he wants to fight, so set up the fight. Like this is not a situation of David Morrell. If he loses, he's out of boxing. Nah, man, he can still win some fights and come back and build his name back up, build his brand back up into a champion. I believe that. So I mean, let David Morrell fight David Benavidez, man. But for whatever reason, Benavidez team is not saying Morrell's name. It's looking very shaky, man. But let's deep dive into David Benavidez' record here. Start with him, the monster, the Mexican monster. I don't even know if he goes by that anymore. I know he did for a while. Oh yeah, the monster. Yeah, Bandera Roja. Yeah, the Mexican monster. As Mike Tyson called him. 28 0, 24 KOs. Dave Benavidez, he looked very, very good in his last few fights, man. He had that performance against Caleb Plant where he just broke him down. And then Demetrius Andre, he brought him up, stopped him, made him say no mas. Before that, the David Lemieux fight stopped David Lemieux, beat Kyron Davis, who is fighting on this card against Elijah Garcia, I believe. Kyron fighting. Yep, Elijah Garcia. And then he's got Vozick next, man. Moving up in weight to 175 for the interim title, WBC light heavyweight. And David Benavidez can make a statement if he goes out there and stops Vozick. That'd be a huge win for him. And it'd be something that's unpredictable. But I think what I want to see from David Benavidez is can he how is he gonna move around the ring with the weight? You know, is he gonna look as sharp, especially with all those combination punches that he throws? Is he gonna be able to throw those at that same high clip? And you know, is he gonna carry that power with him? Because I mean, he couldn't stop Caleb Plant. That's something that Canelo Alvarez did do, and something I expected David Benavidez to do as well, but he couldn't do it. So there's a few question marks, obviously, and then he's facing a bigger guy. So how is he going to take shots from the bigger guy? But I know for a fact he's already sparred guys with like Bivol and Vosdick, so he's been in there. But man, this is the fight. This is under the lights. Like I said, sparring. I think sparring is something, yes, but it's not everything. So when you get under these lights, man, you got to be ready to perform because, like my boy Nestor Gibbs says at the Boxing Voice, you prepare for 4 months, 3 months for one night. You better be ready, man. So that's what that is. As for David Benavidez's opponent, Vosdick, we're gonna go take a look at him. Like I said, he's picked up a couple wins here. He's 20 wins, 16 KOs, one loss. Representing Ukraine, he was on that great team with Usyk, Baranchak, Lomachenko. He comes from that cloth. And as we see here, back in 2019, he took a loss to Arthur Beterbiev. Got stopped in the 10th round. And then, yeah, he was out for some time. Look at that. He didn't fight until last year, 2023. But he had 3 fights last year. So he's very active. So I get it. Not against the best opponents. Yeah, 20 wins, 34 losses. But those are confidence booster fights. And those are fights that guys need. But I'm looking at it like, okay, this is activity. This is really good. He could be sharper than David Benavidez right now because David only fought twice last year, I believe. But we'll see how this plays out because I don't know what to expect from Vosdick. You know, he hasn't fought anybody here. You know what I'm saying? These three guys are not near David Benavidez level. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see, is his confidence back to where it's supposed to be? And if it is, man, then Vozik's gonna give David Benavidez a tough fight on Saturday night. Best believe that. But if not, then David Benavidez, he's got to step up to the plate and impress and show that 175 division that I'm here to take all the belts. You know, I think him, Bivol, or Beterbiev is a great fight. Like I'd like to see him fight both guys, to be honest. You know, maybe defend the belts against one of the, you know, whoever loses. But as far as this weekend, David Benavidez has got to look good, man. He can't go out there and stink it the joint up. It won't look good. All the Canelo fans will be saying, "See, this is why this guy can't fight Canelo." It just wouldn't fare well. So I hope David Benavidez goes out there and puts on a show. Getting a stoppage will be nice, but I don't really expect it. But I expect him to put on a dominant performance for 12 rounds and win a unanimous decision over Bostic and basically just outclass him, beat him up, and you know, just one sided fight. But if it's tough, then you know, we'll know that Vosdick, for one, is still that guy. He's still good. He's still got something left in the tank. And yeah, this 175 division is definitely going to be a real hard fight for David Benavidez if he goes in there with Bivol or better BF. Even though he sparred with Bivol before, feels that he can beat him in a fight. Getting in there and doing it's a whole different thing, man. So I just hope David Benavidez could show up and show out this weekend on the co-main event again for that Javante Tank Davis versus Frank Martin card. We're gonna cover Tank Davis next and Frank. And y'all drop your comments below, man. Let me know how y'all think the Benavidez and Bozic fight's gonna go. Do you think Benavidez moving up is a good decision? Do you think him talking about going back down to fight Canelo is a good decision? Like, there's just so many things with Benavidez, and I just don't think he needs to pay attention to Canelo much more. Canelo's, you know, he doesn't have many dance partners left, so he's kind of on the way out. Guys fought so many fights, man. I think Benavidez is at a point where he needs to make his own career, make his own mark, and he could do that by clearing out 75. Like that'd be impressive. Moving up to cruiserweight and fighting guys like Jay Apataya, that'd be impressive as well if he could win that. And I think Benavidez, he's got the body frame to fill out to fight at Bridger and heavyweight. So this is the guy who can move up multiple divisions, but we'll see what they do. Um, I just hope it's a good weekend for them and they get a good fight in and they look good. And Benavidez wins the fight with no controversy. And yeah, I'd like to see him back in 3, 4 months again, fighting hopefully on Turkey Al Sheikh's cards or something like that. But as far as it is right now, David Benevidez has got a big task in front of him. And he's got to beat the Ukrainian man because Vazdik, he's not no scrub. He's a former champion. He did beat Adonis Stevenson for that WBC belt. And he was in there with Beterbiev for 10 rounds. So I mean, he almost went the distance, almost the first guy to do so. So shout out to him. But I hope it's all Benavidez on Saturday night. Let me know what y'all think, man. Monster back. Let's see what he does now. 175. Peace.